everybody! Welcome to the Fandom Post Radio Podcast. I am your host, Kate, and joining me this week is Kestrel.
Pretty sure you're the engineer.
Oh shit, yeah, that's right, I'm the engineer.
No, you're the host now, it's too late.
Fuck, okay. And Kane.
Hello.
And DJ.
Hey.
And joining us this week is Brandon.
Yo.
And we have a full house to talk about the spring 2022 anime season.
Woo!
Woo! But first, there's news, so we should cover our news. Not too much news, but there's news.
Yeah, surprisingly little news. It has, again, been over a month since we've recorded. But not too much news. So the first piece of news is from almost a month ago, which was the end of last season. We knew that Attack on Titan was not wrapping up. Weren't sure if we were getting another season or a movie or what. So it was confirmed, just like at the end of the previous season, we are getting the final season, part 3, officially titled The Final Season, The Final Arc. That's coming sometime next year. Probably the same time, hopefully, beginning of the year. And I think it should only be 5 to 9 episodes at most. So if they time it right, they can wrap it up right around the 10th anniversary of the anime, which would be neat.
Ooh.
But it's been that long, huh?
It has.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What is time?
There's almost as many final seasons as there's been actual other seasons.
Yeah.
I think they got one more left in them.
Are they beating
split it into two cores.
Are they beating Gintama on that count, or are they about equal?
Ooh.
It depends on what you count.
We'll wait until they actually end it.
Yeah.
We might be getting the final chapter, the final season, the final movie. Finally.
They can't. Not even to fill out a core, even if they only do one chapter an episode. There can't be any more than one more core.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
I mean, they could split one chapter into 2 episodes and have
motherfucker.
And then have an episode that's nothing but a recap of the other final cores.
I believe in Attack on Titan. The anime has not steered us wrong so far in its adaptation, so I have faith in it.
I'm not saying it's going to be bad. I'm just saying I wonder how long they're going to draw it out.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird with part 2 because they were clearly, I would say, kind of ending it on a certain point in the story and stretching out the pacing to match that. And to probably give them more than, 2 or 3 episodes for the final core. Because it used to always be 1.5 to 2 episodes, or chapters per episode. And then most of part 2 was 1 chapter an episode. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Well,
anyway, next piece of news. So G-Kids has announced that they have acquired the rights to Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water. So this is the, I guess technically it's the only TV series that Hideaki Anno directed in full other than Evangelion. It immediately preceded Evangelion, had most of the same staff, had a lot of influence on that series. Evangelion was actually originally planned as a sequel to Nadia. And it began as a project by Hayao Miyazaki as his first, as his directorial debut, and then that never came to fruition, and 20 years later, Gainax picked it up. So pretty important historical context behind it. It directly drove Anno into the depression that inspired Evangelion, among other things. And they're getting it from a new 4K restoration. No word yet on whether they will be releasing a 4K disc or just a Blu-ray from that new restoration, but should look pretty nice anyway.
Yeah, it has really good, almost everything that, Anno has done, as well as whatever studio he happens to be a part of, does is really good, mechanical animation. Lots of really highly detailed, machinery and the inner workings of such, Royal Space Forces the same way. This show, I watched it actually a year ago, and it really got fucked by a committee in a way, which is unfortunate. Like, it has a middle arc of, I think, like 15 episodes or so, that it's nothing but filler that was, as far as I could tell when I did research on it, like forced on by a production committee because they wanted to draw out the show due to its success so they could get more money and, like, I don't know if it was merchandising or just ratings, because during like this stretch of the middle of the show, like, characters actually like revert back to earlier versions of themselves. Like, it erases character development, which then picks back up as soon as the filler arc is over. Like, you can tell like distinct lines of where an entire arc started and ended because somebody else deemed it necessary to like draw out the show's runtime. It was really weird. Like, the show gets bad in that spot. I mean, it never drops in its production values and aesthetics and things like that, but like the story just tanks and does something completely different, like right in the middle of a very important main plot part. So yeah, I just thought that was really odd. It's so most people say just skip that shit. Like, just skip like that episode branch because nothing happens. So yeah, I know that has happened. Like, that's just how like the movie and TV business and all that goes. But Nadia is one of the, like, at least anime that I felt experienced it the worst way, because it's not like it's a DBZ or whatever that can be drawn out, you know, with stuff that can be relied upon through shonen tropes, like, oh, let's just draw out a battle for 14 episodes or whatever. Like, this was like a 180-degree turn for some characters and in the entire story, and it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was definitely a big factor on why Anno was so upset about the process and felt like he had lost control and needed to be in complete control of his next project.
I can imagine. That would be super frustrating, especially because it had a lot of good momentum going. Like, I was really liking it. I mean, I still like it, but I would have to agree with everybody else that talks about this, is you would be just as good skipping that entire arc and just watching the next episode that actually works on the main story, and you will leave happier than if you watch the like 12 or 13 episodes in between.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right, my last piece of news here. So this is super shitty news. So Billy Kometz is a voice actor who really just got started in anime voice acting in the past few years. I think his earliest roles are like 2016, 2018 maybe. Yeah, 2018 I think for anime. And in that time he's voiced a ton of mostly lead roles. He's the lead in JoJo Diamond is Unbreakable, Rising the Shield Hero, Promare, Cells at Work, a bunch of others, and a bunch of, not leads, but probably a higher percentage of leads than most people get. And he just put out a video announcing that he was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. He's only 35, which is heartbreaking and terrifying. But he's very positive in the video, which makes it slightly more heartbreaking, but he's, very confident in everything. At least that's how he's portraying it. He's doing chemo, he's doing lots of medications. He says he's being taken care of really well, but it's really scary stuff. So, yeah, certainly wish him the best, certainly hope that he gets through it, beats this all. He's not going to be doing any voice acting for a while, obviously. He's going back home with his parents, right around Kane's neck of the wood, actually. And yeah, there's a few arcs of Cells at Work where his lead character kicks cancer's ass, so I hope for the same in real life.
Damn.
Yeah, that's a rough one. So hopefully, he can beat it and take advantage of modern medicine.
That's terrifying. It's like, you don't think that's like a cancer that you're not supposed to get when you're young. And if you do get it when you're young, it's usually a bad, because they're not looking for it at that age.
Yeah, I think the age normally for dudes is like 40 or so you start getting that.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that's not even like a little bit earlier. That is significantly earlier. So,
Which is probably why, they didn't catch it until it was stage 4.
No, absolutely.
They wouldn't think to look. Yeah.
for sure. So, yep, all the best for him and his family.
Yep.
Yeah, but he beat the odds.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got for news.
I have one kind of piece of news that came out, I think, today. It's really more, I guess, just for probably you, Kestrel, but did you see that the 60-second trailer for the Cuckoo's Dones Island came out today or yesterday?
I did not see that. No.
It did. Yeah, so that's coming along nicely. I watched the trailer. It's Gundam. It's hard to say that it looks good. Not that it doesn't. It just looks like all the other Gundams have looked since Unicorn and stuff, very similar art style, full CG mobile suits and stuff. It looks like there's going to be a lot of mobile suit stuff, some good fights. At one point, the RX-78's dual-wielding beam sabers, which is pretty dope.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's the same staff that do the Origin.
Yeah,
it looks like
it.
I figured it'd probably look like Origin, yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, I'm down for it. I actually never got to see the Doan's Island episode. I actually watched through the original Gundam a few months ago, and I was like, wait, there's an episode I'm missing, and then I totally forgot that they just kind of axed that thing from existence. So,
yeah, I think it only aired on television, and then in any of the home video releases, it got axed. And I remember looking it up because I thought, was there something really controversial? Was there what was it? And then Tomino was just like, nah, it sucked.
It just looked bad. I'm pretty sure
it just looked awful.
I think that one, there was plenty of outsourcing and stuff they had to do for the original run, but I think that one just was especially off model all the time, and he was like, yeah, this one won't fly.
Yeah, actually, they just put up the episode on their YouTube channel, the Gundam Info YouTube channel, a week ago. I don't think it's subtitled though, so hopefully they add that eventually.
I may have to check that out just to see how bad it looks. Because, man, it's gotta be really bad. Because, I mean, I love Gundam, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that the original Mobile Suit Gundam is exactly a looker.
Right.
Especially in the mobile suit category. The people look fine, but sometimes the Gundam looks a little wacky in terms of its proportions and how sometimes they can completely change.
Well, we're only 7 years away. Maybe we'll finally get that full remake for the 50th anniversary.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
It seems insane for them to never do that.
Yeah.
Just prints money.
I mean, you could then watch the Origin and then the remake of the original all in a row and have the most perfect experience possible. I mean, there's no point to even watching anime after that.
I always want my perfect Gundam anime was always a full adaptation of the Origin manga, because that gives you the original story just told better, and then has the new flashback arcs mixed in there at appropriate times. I thought the aesthetic of Origin, I didn't like it nearly as much as Unicorn. I think Unicorn looked a lot better with the mobile suit animation. And I just like the direction and music better as well. But yeah, if all of those things could combine, I could have my perfect Gundam anime.
Yeah, and then we can finally kill the age-old question of, but where do I start? And everyone's like, oh, but the original's so old and bad-looking. It's well, if they remake it, then you have no more excuses. Get into Gundam. It's amazing.
Several people have asked me, where do I start? And what I always tell them is, if you don't mind it being in a different medium, you should start with the Gundam Origin manga, because it's the best form of that story.
I tell people just to suck it up and watch the original show. Just deal with it.
Or movie trilogy. I usually say, if you don't want the manga, go with the movie trilogy.
Oh yeah, the movie trilogy. Yeah, that's the best one. It's just it's not English dubbed. So if that is a requirement, which I understand, then yeah, you're stuck with the show.
That's another thing, once they remake the original series, they could remake Zeta, and they could, make a good double Zeta. and all that shit. And then we could get good, consistent NYAV post dubs for all of it. Because at this point, like, if you're watching UC in English, then you're going to be changing voices like every show you go.
That's true. Or if you just want to have fun and throw all that lore shit out the window, you can have your first Gundam be G Gundam. Or like 8th MST.
Lots of alternate universes.
No, never.
If you're not invested in seeing the Universal Century play out, it is certainly much easier to just go with an AU story because they're just self-contained and you don't have to worry about them being 50 years old.
Yeah.
Like, I love 00, I love IBO, I'm hoping Witch from Mercury is good, even though it has a girl. Can you believe that?
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I can't believe people are freaking out about that. I'm like, come on, get over yourself.
Not my Gundam.
My Gundam's woke now. Like, Gundam was always woke. Where were you? It's like, the whole thing is about war is bad. Look how bad war is.
Wow, cool robot.
It's like no one ever watched War in the Pocket, the badass female mech pilot.
Oh god, War in the Pocket.
Kate, you wouldn't get it because you're a girl. You just don't understand our strife.
Girls can't get in the robots. Just stuck over here with Ray Earth. Only no time.
But yeah, I figured I'd share that because that's interesting, not just because it's Gundam, but I was like, it's also based on the fact that the original episode was so bad it didn't even get over here until apparently a week or so ago.
Yeah, it is fascinating that they decided to make a feature film out of that.
Indeed. But if that's it for news, then I suppose we can get into the meat and potatoes of the episode. If everyone's ready to talk about the spring season.
Delicious meat and potatoes anime.
What anime isn't improved by a fantastic meat and potatoes food scene?
I mean, usually it's curry, to be honest.
True, but that's still that shit looks good. So let's just jump right into it. I see we have a couple shows in common. I'm not sure if we wanted to start with one of those first. I know there's one I really want to talk about with DJ, but that's because he hates it and I like it, and we'll save that.
We can start with that.
All right, cool. So, I want to pose something to you, DJ. So the show we're talking about is Birdie Wing. For everybody, just so everyone's on the same page. DJ, is Birdie Wing Happy Gilmore?
No. I'm going to say no because I love Happy Gilmore.
Well, it's Happy Gilmore without any of the stuff that makes Happy Gilmore like a comedy. Because if you think about it,
so I get unlikely golfer is actually good at golf. I guess it is.
Well, golfer
the same
who
in that
doesn't
respect.
like golf is good at golf, hits the ball very far as their only redeeming golf factor, lives in a situation where they have to earn money to pay for the housing of their family, because that's basically the story of Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, the more you mention it, the more it does seem like Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, it's really just a plot to make an anime version of Happy Gilmore.
That's fair. That doesn't change my opinion of the show so far, though.
No, I didn't think it would. If anything, I thought it'd make it worse. But
no, I love Happy Gilmore.
Well, that's good. I haven't seen it in years, but I remember liking it.
It's one of the few Adam Sandler movies I can really get behind.
Very, very true. I think that's something that most people can agree on. Is Happy Gilmore is one of the ones that is generally well regarded.
It's a universally liked movie for the most part.
Indeed.
Birdie Wing's fucking weird.
It is, isn't it?
I was expecting more golf, less shonen battle anime, but
why would you expect that? Come on.
when you've got the protagonist, she does the thing where she yells out her move before she does it, which is common in anime, but
I made
she only has 3 moves.
That first episode. 10 minutes into that first episode.
Wait, is that your one show, the first 10 minutes of Birdie Wing?
No.
That would be absolutely
I'm seriously
incredible.
Watching another show. No, I'm seriously watching another show, but I'm like, oh, the golf show looks crazy. I'm going to check out this golf show. And it starts off kind of oh, yeah, this thing. And within the first 10 minutes, it is fully off the rails and letting you know exactly what the show is.
Yeah, it's not what I expected it to be.
No, I don't think it's what anybody was expecting it to be from the promo. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be like a slightly like anime like golf story.
That's not my biggest problem with it though. Like I can get past the ridiculous over the top sports stuff. Like, okay, that's fine. But there's parts of each episode that I just really question the directorial ideas behind. Like in the first episode, there's just like a 3-minute break of just like a music video, and it's the girl hitting a ball against the same tree for 3 minutes straight, and then like after 5 seconds of hitting the ball against a tree, there's just like a black and white shot of her like looking cool somewhere. And I don't know if that like was supposed to tell us something as a scene, but it was just a weird montage of just this girl looking cool in different locations for 3 straight minutes while nothing happened. And it just goes back to normal after that. And it was so confusing. And I feel it just keeps doing weird things like that don't fit into the show. And it just like takes away from it.
I erased that part from my memory 3 episodes in.
Because it's so pointless.
Yeah, I didn't get it either. I thought, is she supposed to be contemplating golf?
Yeah, like what is happening right now?
I definitely agree. It's super weird. I don't see what you guys think is weird about having golf intermixed with underground organized crime.
I like that. I think it's fun.
Sounds like
I think that's a weird comparison. The world of Birdie Wing like weirdly reminds me of the world from Carol and Tuesday. And I like it's like just an exaggerated futuristic world, and I don't know, it feels like that show but a lot worse.
The scene with the train car, I know.
Oh, I fucking love that.
I know
shit.
you said it kind of reminds you of Carol and Tuesday. I've only seen clips so far, so I have nothing to judge it on, but that it reminded me of like Akudama Drive sort of, with that like futuristic vibe it had going, which I was like, what is going on in this show right now? So I might have to pick it up. I don't know.
It's
no.
It is.
You don't have to.
It's weird. I would not personally recommend it to most people, despite the fact that I actually like it, and I like it more than one of the other shows I'm watching. And I think it's because this show is weird and makes me feel stuff every episode, like even if it's just incredulousness, as opposed to the other show, which is just boring and bland and makes me feel nothing. But what do you think? What do you think of the main character? I think her name is like Eve or Ava or something at this point. Because I kind of like her in the fact that she just straight out says in like the first or second episode, "I'm not a golfer. I just hit a ball with a stick for money." And I was like, "This is the shit." Because it's so different than a lot of sports shonen where the person is like passionate about their sport or whatever they play, and she's just care like, at all. This is what I'm good at, and this is what gets me stacking paper.
I don't mind her as a character. I don't think that she's particularly interesting when you get away from her motivations, because there's really no depth to her at all right now. She's just an orphan who's good at golf, and so she golfs. But I don't dislike her, and even though this show is like the bottom of my list out of all the stuff I'm watching right now, there are definitely several shows I would drop before it. So I guess that says something. Like it's interesting and it keeps me entertained. There's just like, I can't call it good.
Yeah, no, I think I'm on the same page with you. It's like, I am entertained. I like that she yells her moves, even though...
Yeah, I wish she had more than 3 moves, though.
Yeah, she just puts a color in front of the word bullet, but the ball always does the same thing. She's got blue bullet, which is where she hits the ball far and straight, and then she has red bullet, where she putts the ball far and straight, and then she has like another one where she hits the ball far and straight. But
it's 3 moves that all do the same thing, but they each involve a different club.
Which is exactly how Happy Gilmore played.
I can't wait to find out which color she uses when she has to knock one out of a sand trap.
The same one.
That happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
Same one.
Yeah, and she only has 3 clubs, so
efficient.
Well, she gets a whole bag eventually. Let's be fair.
Yeah, true. Okay.
After she signs a deal with the Golf Mafia.
a real organization that actually exists.
Yeah, I don't know what their deal is at this point, but yeah, I don't know. This show, it's entertaining. That's the best
is the
thing
word.
I can really say, and it has like a little bit of potential in that. I hope they kind of look more at that family situation, because they're not like, they're like orphans, but they also run a bar, but they run a bar illegally, squatting in a building, and they have to pay off the cops, which happens in the first episode.
Yep. They really just drop that on you.
Yeah, and then they never pick it up again. It's like, that was actually kind of interesting. Like, I see where I thought it was going to go is she was going to enter this big tournament because she would need a lot of money very quickly, a la Happy Gilmore. I don't know.
See, it's not Happy Gilmore. You were wrong.
Yeah, I guess not. I'm super wrong because the main conceit isn't quite there yet. It's got to happen. I mean, you can't just set that up with no payoff in any way.
Oh, yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen.
Something's going to happen where they're not going to have money and the cops are going to bust up their place, or this like deal she signed with the Golf Mafia is going to get them in trouble some way. I don't really know how, but I can't
They'll figure it out.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. The show will pull something out of its ass. I mean, she hit a golf ball through a train car. It isn't afraid to do anything.
Yeah, that was fucking ridiculous.
In like the most anime way possible, which is why I laughed out loud, like at how ridiculous it was. And to me, that was a good thing. I was like, okay, this show's not afraid to just fuck with you.
As soon as that train showed up, I was just like, oh no. Because it's like, that's when it clicks. It's like, oh god, it's that kind of anime. And well, I was holding out hope that like maybe the ball would just bounce off of it or something, but there's no way. No, that was never going to happen.
Well, the thing is, you know what I find actually more unrealistic than that part was what happened immediately afterwards, where she hit the ball not only through the train, but then she hit the rake in the bunker on purpose in such a way that the ball would bounce straight up in the air with just enough spin to roll like into the cup. Like, that is harder than getting it through the train, because how are you supposed to do that geometry? Like, that, how are you supposed to do that fucking math?
She just hits a ball with a stick, man.
For money.
For money.
For money. So...
Except for the second episode where she doesn't do it for money.
Yeah, she doesn't do it for money. She doesn't do it for money in the third episode either. Because now she's entrenched in this weird tournament thing, which I don't get right now. I'm a little confused, like... honestly confused, not this is ridiculous, but more like I don't get what was supposed to be accomplished.
Yeah, like, why is this happening?
Yeah, because the whole thing was like, I want to play 18 holes with this girl who beat me, because now there's my sort of passion for the episodes. It's like beating this girl, but you didn't even play with her. You played like a totally separate round.
Like, she's there though.
Yeah, I guess. She's there. And then how the episode ended, I was like, are they gonna do what I think they're gonna do with the episode, where like the underground crime syndicate is gonna take responsibility for that girl missing that putt in a very believable way? I was like, I don't understand how they're gonna string any of this together, but it has my attention.
Yeah, I want to know.
I want to know. I also think it has the worst opening theme of all time.
I can't remember it. I think that I liked one of the songs a lot, but I think it might be the ending.
The ending one is fine. The opening, I can only describe it as piercing. Which they do say the word piercing a lot in the show, so maybe that was on purpose.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the ending was the one that I adored, but I'm checking my Twitter now, so...
Please
yeah, it's the ending. The ending's great. I can't remember the opening.
Please tell me that the underground golf mafia is run by a guy who's like a pseudonym for Tiger Woods or something.
Everything's run by women, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, the golf league is women. The main characters are all women. The underground golf mafia is run by a woman who also answers to another woman who runs an actual golf company. So we have some like corporate espionage type stuff going on.
All right.
But there's supposed to be some, like, based off of the promotional art, like, supposed to be some bad-looking dudes showing up, maybe? Sometime? I don't know. I'm just along for the ride. I just want to see more ridiculous golf shots and stuff. The last thing I'll say about the show, real quick, is also, like, the golf animation part isn't bad either. I'll give it props for that. Like, the swings actually look halfway decent. Like, it hasn't jumped the shark that quick yet where there's, like, someone insanely muscular who only swings with one arm on purpose and the golf club is, like, a tree with a rock on the end of it. We haven't gotten that far yet.
We'll get there.
The
train, the train isn't jumping the shark?
No. Oh, no, man. That just set it all up. That set it all up. But yeah, for the actual golf portion is pretty decently animated as far as you could animate golf, which, I mean, is never going to be like, whoa, look at this, because, I mean, it's a sport where you mostly stand still. But yeah, so it's entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It is entertaining. But, okay. We can shift now that I got that out of my system. I was so glad I saw that you watched that.
Yeah. I had a feeling that you would, because it just seems like a Kane show. But
it's 100%.
Yeah.
It does what the baseball anime was trying to do last season, but better for me already, because it doesn't try to make anything, like, make sense.
Or at least it hasn't yet.
It hasn't yet, yeah. It hasn't tried yet. But, alright, cool. So, the next show I want to hear about, because this is how this always goes anyway, is, I want to hear about this show, Your Boy Kong Ming. What is it?
Yeah, so, this is a famous, Three Kingdoms era Chinese tactician. He dies, as he does historically, except he doesn't die. He gets reincarnated in the prime of his life in modern-day Shibuya on Halloween, and he becomes an aspiring singer's manager / tactician / agent / whatever. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's why I didn't watch it.
It's really good, though.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about it, and my favorite studio is making it, but I took one look at the synopsis, and I was like, this isn't for me. And I keep seeing the same GIF over and over of, I guess it's probably the ending of just the girl dancing, and it annoys me, and I don't want to watch it.
That's from the OP, and it's banging.
Is it?
Yeah,
oh God, I hate it.
Amazing. It's incredible. If you don't watch the show, you should watch the opening.
But yeah, I don't know. For some reason, like, I really haven't been hooked on a PA Works show since, like, Sakura Quest, and I've heard a lot of people talk about this one, and then I was hooked in by the OP, of course, but then, like, the actual content of the show is just so ridiculous, because, like, Kong Ming will, like, employ strategies he used historically to win battles, but he'll use those strategies as a way to, like, get people in the crowd to, like, go see the singer that he's promoting, or, like, I don't know, trick people into, like, moving around and, like, shifting around the stage area and just, like, getting lost, but, like, staying within range of his singer. It's like, it's ridiculous, but, like, he makes it work somehow.
Is this an adaptation or is this an original?
It's an adaptation, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Who fucking comes up with this?
It's pretty spectacular.
If anything, someone who's, like, a huge original Three Kingdoms fan, just by the way the whole show runs.
Yeah, the bartender guy is or not the bartender, but the club owner is probably, like, the author's self-insert.
Yeah. But the music's good too. I mean, there's a lot of, like, English singing that is, for the most part, like, really well done and, like, catchy. And from what it sounds like, they're going to kind of... It's funny because you mentioned Carol and Tuesday earlier, and this show gives me Carol and Tuesday vibes in that it's trying to, like, encompass a bunch of different styles of music per episode. So I think
That's cool.
I think they're looking for like a rap artist, and there's probably going to be like a rapper in the next episode. So really looking forward to that. But yeah, I don't know. It's really fun and wholesome too.
Very wholesome. I think DJ, you would love the female lead.
The blonde girl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a clip of her playing an acoustic guitar and Kongming just like being in the room and being like, "Whoa." And that is all of the show that I have seen. But it was a nice song and it seemed calming. I know nothing about the romance of the Three Kingdoms.
I don't think you need to. I don't know anything about this guy's history either, but I think the show does a good job at being like, these are famous things he's done. Watch how he applies it to an EDM club.
Yeah. This is the show that everyone that I know keeps telling me to watch, and maybe I'll succumb to peer pressure. And it is PA Works, and I love them, so I don't know.
I always
just
forget
seems
it's
so
PA Works
strange.
'cause it's so different than their norm.
Yeah, like there are cute girls, but it's like that's not the focus.
Yeah, I think Eiko will be enough to get you on board though, because like she's adorable, and she also is in the same boat of when Komei starts just talking about Three Kingdom stuff with the club owner. She's like, I really don't know what you guys are talking about, but okay, I'll go with it. So
that's true.
Yeah. And
yeah, you can empathize with her.
She's voiced by Kaide Hondo, which I mean that alone is really, really awesome.
I'll probably bite the bullet. How many episodes in is it? 3, 4?
Like 4, I think.
4?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, she's a cute music girl. She wears hats.
And I love hats.
She changes up her outfit all the time. Like, you gotta love that stuff.
She wears hats.
I know what DJ likes.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to really enjoy, but I'm a team hat all the way. You put a hat on a girl and she's 10 times prettier.
Yeah. And it's usually hats like with just like one big word of English on it.
Those are Japanese hats for you.
Right. But yeah,
it's like a random word normally too, like soup or something.
Yeah.
Coconut.
I love how impossibly well he just adapts to like modern club hopping life. Like he's immediately just like the most popular guy in town, and he just adapts to all of these very modern inventions. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I honestly thought his interactions would be like very cringe with like the modern kids,
exactly.
But it's like they're like, "Yo, Kome, come drink with us." He's like, "Yeah."
He's like instantly more popular around town than she is. That's like my favorite aspect, is just seeing how popular he is and how well he's just assimilated into this life.
That's what I liked about Ryder from Fate Zero. Just fucking shows up and he's like, "This is my time."
Yep.
Oh yeah, I remember that part too. And he would like, "I'm just gonna go to a bookstore now," or "I'm just gonna buy this video game and play this video game."
Yeah. Interestingly enough, he gets hooked on Three Kingdoms video games, doesn't he?
Oh,
I believe so. Yeah, it's some type of like strategic RPG type, Fire Emblem-y, Advance Wars-y type kind of thing.
Oh man,
so there you go.
I would die if they make like a Dynasty Warriors reference in the show, and Kong Ming's like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, right. He must be in Fate Go by now, right? Every fucking historical figure.
Oh yeah, he's there.
Oh, I gotta believe it.
Yeah. I'm sure he's Saber.
He's probably.
There are probably like 6 different versions of him.
So.
They probably turned him into a Genshin Impact girl too. I wouldn't doubt it. Dang.
So once more, what is his like motivation to do this? Like, it's just like these people are famous and I want to be famous?
No, he was just touched by this girl's singing, her voice and her music. Yeah,
that's good a reason as any, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that they they kind of immediately let go of like, how did he get here? And like, what's the reason? It's like, he gets there, he's like, thinks he's in hell at first because it's literally Halloween, and he like shows up to a club and he's like, oh, all these crazy fucking demons around me. But then he realizes, he's like, oh wait, no, this is not how that's going. And then he meets Eiko, hears her singing, and he's like, you want to be the best star and go to the biggest festival in the world? I'm gonna help you do that. And then they just leave behind all the reasoning for him leaving.
Which,
the
I mean,
past,
a lot
so
of like isekai.
I'm kind of glad they
kind of
just were like, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, once you get past the initial premise of the show, you never have to think about it again. He's just, he belongs here. He's in Shibuya now, and he's fucking making waves.
Yeah. The only time they really do kind of harken back to his old life is she'll be singing a song and he'll like have like an epiphany moment where he like remembers his old comrades.
Like, not only does he
single
use
tear and he's like
past experience to come up with these tactics, but he also kind of finds closure in things that he regretted in his life, and in famous historical accounts. Yeah, it's a nice wholesome little show. It is the only thing I am watching on High Dive.
I would recommend.
It's the only thing I'm watching not on Crunchyroll, other than the Netflix show.
I have not watched anything on High Dive in over a year, I don't think.
I have only watched things on High Dive in the last year. They keep having one show a season I need.
Yeah, that's always how it works with them.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely trying to compete more now that Crunchyroll is everything. Because they got quite a few exclusive this season, just not that many worth caring about.
Yeah, I watched the first episode of Onipan just because I saw that the 3D director for Attack on Titan was like one of the chief 3D directors for the show, and there was like a cool 3D running scene I saw on Twitter. So I checked out the first episode. It's all right. Kind of gives me like Nichijou vibes, but I don't know if I'm gonna keep watching it. But yeah, that's the only other thing I'm watching.
That's two kind of weird shows in a row. So we're getting the episode off to a nice weird start.
Yeah. I think Kane would.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone will still be listening by now.
And DJ would like it because of Eiko.
That sounds fair.
Yeah, that tracks probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready to move on?
Yep.
All right, cool. Kate, what are you watching?
I am watching a show I cannot pronounce. I am watching the Candy Shop Show.
Candy Shop Show.
Daimon? Yeah, how did you pronounce it?
Daimon.
Daimon.
What is your new Dagashi Kashi?
Yes, I'm watching the Candy Shop Show.
Hey, we're watching the same show.
Amazing.
I'm also watching
shocking.
that show.
I think I like it more than both of you.
Probably.
That's, typical for me, because I do like my slice of life shows.
Yeah.
And this is accomplishing everything that a slice of life show needs to do, which is basically don't be Bunny Drop, so it's not that, thank God.
Hey, Bunny Drop the anime is perfect.
Okay. Yes, but with the knowledge of what the manga turns into, there was a real fear from not just me, but half the internet that that was what this
it's been 11 years, Kate. The show is perfect.
That is how badly Bunny Drop has traumatized people, is that anybody sees anything where there's a dude and a girl and everyone's like, oh shit, is this gonna be wife rearing again?
Is that what Bunny Drop is?
There's no manga. Bunny Drop was never a manga. It's only an anime. Just don't listen to anyone who tells you otherwise.
Because I know nothing about that show, but I'm suddenly interested.
I've heard one thing about Bunny Drop before this episode my entire life, and it was wife rearing.
That is interesting.
Don't read the manga. Just watch the anime. It's great.
It's perfect. You shut
It
the
is.
fuck up.
There was no manga.
Exactly.
There was no
Anyway.
second season of Darker Than Black.
Right, exactly.
No, that's my beef. That's that. Kestrel's thought there was no manga funny drop, and I'm over here with there is no second season of Darker Than Black.
Yeah, exactly. I was waiting for that.
We all have one of those in our
There was
lives.
no Promise Neverland season 2. There was no Promise Neverland season 2.
The show is a cute show about a guy whose band who went off to Tokyo to be in a band. He had a weird ass gimmick, and it didn't work out. And all of his bandmates dropped him for like the 5th time. And then he gets a letter. He's like, "Your dad's in the hospital." So he runs home because he's concerned that he will have to take over the candy store. None of that comes to pass. His dad's mad at him. They've taken in this little girl who was just abandoned and left at their shop, essentially. Like, they let this dude, like, crash them for a few nights, and he just left his daughter there. And took off. And so the like 70-year-old parents are like,
Okay.
"No, that's cool. You can live here. You'll be like our granddaughter." And so when the son shows back up, the girl is mad at him instantly because she mistook him for her dad at the train station or the bus station because he had a guitar. Like, this show was very obsessed with people with guitars. Like at least two or three of the main cast members play guitar. So it actually has really nice insert songs because, like, they actually got musicians to, like, you know, do some nice little insert songs. But yeah, so it's about this guy who's in his 30s who is now back home living at the family place, working at the family candy store, which is traditional Japanese candy store, and trying to be a father figure to this little girl who's living at the store now and who is deathly afraid that she is going to be kicked out and left behind again by people. So she's, like, always trying to prove her worth to, like, the family, and it's like, you don't need to do that, kid. And then, like, all the secondary characters start coming in, and they all have their own little, like, weird, like, micro, like, problems. But yeah, the girlfriend for the lead has already shown back up, so, yes, crisis averted. But it's just cute. It's got nice, pretty watercolor backgrounds, the music's good. The animation is good for what it is, which is it's not a slideshow, so good. It's just comfy. I need a comfy show.
Yeah.
It's a good comfy show. It
Yeah, it's
manages
comfy.
to avoid most of the what do you call it? Dumb cliches of shows pretty handedly. Like, you're like, there's gonna be drama. No, there's no drama because people actually communicated, so there's no drama. Which is nice occasionally because I gotta get sick of the bullshit. So I just wish they would talk about how they make the candy more.
Decently about the sweets, but
That's
it's
what I was
not the
going to
focal
ask. I was
point.
like, how much is this about
I
the
think
sweets?
it's a
actually?
solid balance. I like the show. I feel like this is most shows I don't look at from like a I wish I binged this perspective. I think this is one of them that I would rather watch all at once, though, just because it's like having 20 minutes of comfort doesn't really do much. But if it's like a rainy day and you just put on Daimon, I feel like that I'd enjoy it a lot more if I watched all of it at once. But that said, I enjoy it as is. I don't like the protagonist, but
He is a colossal dork.
he is a mega dork, and it bothers me. But everybody else is fine. I like the dad a lot. He yells. He's just a typical
the dad
grumpy
is just
grandpa.
a typical yell mode all times. Like, my worthless son.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I love that.
Yeah, he's just like, you're worthless. And the mom's just kind of like, no, it's cool.
She's a
You're cool,
stereotypical
you're
old
okay."
lady.
Yeah, she's just like, you're cool, you're a good son. And he's just like, and he's not like, he's not a jerk in any way, shape, or form. He's just like a colossal dork. Like,
Yeah.
extreme colossal dork.
He's too dorky. It's
Yeah, he's like maladjusted dorky.
yeah. But I mean, he spent his entire life dressed as a manju. So
Yeah, basically.
And he didn't have a famous Three Kingdoms era tactician to
True.
It just I saw, what was it? Some show where they were talking about all the little bands that form in like Tokyo and stuff. And how they're like all the little idol bands, and they'll have like a little group of people that always follow them around, even though they're like micro idol bands and stuff like that. And it's just like that kind of like, this is what this guy wanted to be, but he's not. He's just a really, he's probably an okay musician with a really dumb, like he's the dude that if he was in America, he'd be just like playing like cover songs at a bar on like a Tuesday night. He's like that guy.
Is he as bad as the main guy from?
He's the dude in the corner with an
Detroit Metal
acoustic
City?
guitar at Potbellies.
I don't think so. Like, I think he can actually play music and shit. So, like, there was a character in the show that was like, I like your music. Like, and I think she was actually genuine about it. I thought she was just humoring him, but I think she was actually genuine. So he could actually play guitar, but he's just hopeless in every other way, shape, and form. So
I think he'd do pretty well working on the show from Orimichio Nissan. I think he fits into that.
Yeah,
that
he
role
would.
pretty well. Yeah.
But anyway, that's the Happy Candy Store show. I was happy that I figured out it was taking place in Kyoto from a bridge that they walked over.
You could just
I was
look
like-
at it, just be like, "Oh, that's Kyoto."
I know. Well, it was like, it wasn't even that. It was like this one shot of them like walking across this bridge with some stones like going across the water below them. And I'm like, I recognize that.
It's
I
cool
recognize that from
recognizing
Eccentric.
stuff in anime.
I was like, I know. I'm like, that was an eccentric family. They're in Kyoto. I was like, and I was right. So we'll get a third season eventually.
Oh, damn. No,
There's another eccentric family we can talk about this season.
Hey.
That's a segue.
Is there more books or something?
That's that's impressive.
Oh,
That was smooth, but I like it.
That's quite a segue.
So
Thanks,
why
guys.
Why don't we? I think everyone except Kate watching Spy Family.
Oh, I meant to watch that.
Everyone certainly
That
should
was the
be.
other show I meant to watch. I'll get around to it at some point.
What does that even mean coming from you?
2030.
The Earth, the Earth might catch on fire, but I will still be watching it at some point.
So yeah, Spy Family is definitely my favorite show out of the massive three that I'm watching. But I mean, I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and for the most part, it looks like that's kind of everybody's opinion. A's and B's and all that stuff going around. So, what?
Anya is a fucking treasure.
Yeah, I wanted to figure out a good way to start the conversation other than just what did you think? But
oh man,
yeah, let's just talk about Anya for a little bit at first and how
She's
dope
awesome.
she is.
I
Yeah, she's
love
great.
her.
Oh man, I've been waiting
They
for the
are
day that she got
perfect.
animated and all her silly little reaction faces.
This show
Ugh.
I knew literally nothing about. I just knew that it was super popular, and there's an entire 4 shelves at my Kinokuniya dedicated to just Spy Family manga, and all my friends love it. And I went in, 0 expectations.
Wow.
And all I knew it was good, and I understand now. But I feel like I don't understand as much as most people because, yeah, it's good, but I'm a little confused, and we're only 3 episodes in right now, as to why it is a fucking phenomenon, because it's like a huge property, and to me, it's just a fun little show.
Yeah, I honestly thought it was going to be popular, but I was
Yeah.
not expecting like viral
What
on
about
Twitter
it?
every day popular.
What
Like,
about
is
it makes
insane
it
how
as
much art
popular
I've
as
seen
it is?
alone
Is
of
it something
Yor
that
and
happens
Anya.
later, or am I just dead inside?
I don't think it has anything to do with like the plot. I think it's just like the premise is just like encompassing enough.
That's what I was going to say.
I don't know, maybe because it's so not anime, you know, like it's just like so
That's
lacking
not
in
every
like
anime
accidental panty shots and like any other like dumb humor. Like I know,
like
but like it's what everyone thinks what every anime is, you know?
You can describe the show in one sentence and literally anyone would be like, oh, that's a fucking perfect premise. That would make a great show. And it does. And it's incredibly well written and clever and funny and cute.
It
and
is
wholesome.
funny.
Isn't it just Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but with a kid added?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Yes.
She is not any kid. She is Anya.
Basically.
Yeah, I mean, she's a telepath, which is
but they don't know that they're
amazing.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
A telepath daughter of spy father, husband, fake father, and an assassin, fake wife, fake mother. It's the perfect setup, and it's executed perfectly every step of the way, and it keeps getting better and better. All of the artwork is amazing from the source. All of the animation and direction is perfect in the adaptation. Like, yeah, it's just a perfect formula.
It is very well directed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I go so far to say it's perfect. It does have some stuff that annoys me a little bit, but every show does.
Fact.
It is very rare that a show doesn't have some stuff. And I think sometimes I wonder if it's just anime storytelling style that I don't like, but it does a couple things I'm like, I don't need to know this, or I don't need to be told this over again. But yeah, I agree on basically everything else. Yeah, the characters are great. The setting is really fun. It's got good music, and I like the whole, proposing with a grenade pin. Like, I thought that was a very, very fun scene as well. So I don't know if I go so far as to call everything about it perfect and amazing and great and fantastic and life-changing, but it's I don't know. I think it's very, very and accessible. I think accessibility is really the big part of it. Like, I can show it to anybody and not be worried about having to explain. Well, you see, in anime, this happens a lot.
Yeah, I didn't think of that, so I understand now.
Yeah, I don't have to be like, see, she's actually 3,000 years old. You don't get it, or whatever. Just all like the little tropes that steer people away from anime. You do not have to worry about that here at all.
And it doesn't have anything Japanese about it because it's
refreshingly generic.
It's a fictional,
fictional
East-West Germany setting.
Yeah.
So.
It's vanilla ice cream, but vanilla ice cream has all.
I like how they went so
all
far
that
as
good
to turn East and West
enriched
Germany
flavor
into
in it.
Entirely different names like Osterius and Westalius, but then they just named the city Berlin and put a T on the end.
Yeah. It's Berlin.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
Totally different. It's Berlin now, not Berlin.
Yeah.
Unrecognizable.
Yeah. So I laughed at that part because they went out of their way to completely name the countries differently, but then they couldn't name the most important city something like different as well, or even like markedly different. They just threw an extra letter on the end. I think my favorite part about the show is I really enjoy the family dynamic isn't even the right word exactly because they're a family but not. I think they feel like a family that isn't afraid to like rib each other and shit all the time because they're more like convivial, I suppose. Like when Anya says, "Can we buy a gun with a silencer?" and he just goes, "We'll see if one's on sale." Like just the little banter pieces back and forth I think are always really fun between Anya and of Twilight / Lloyd, which Forger is an amazing last name given the context. But yeah, that's definitely my favorite bits of it is just how they all interact with each other, even when they're like sort of exasperated. it does get a little too heavy sometimes for me in the whole Lloyd is just going to narrate everything he's thinking about all the time. Like, I get it when it's in situations when Anya is going to read his mind, but one of the parts that I didn't like about the show is, like, near the end of the first episode where, of course, we have to know that Lloyd had a bad childhood, but then he had to go, like, I'm a spy because I want to see every kid smile, and then I have to make sure that they have a free lunch and a library book on, like, it just kept going, and I'm like, I don't need that part. Like, I can pick that up in context clues, or I don't even necessarily need to know why you became a spy, period, at this point. I just know that you are one. But as before, I'm never quite sure if I chalk that up to writing on an individual show or just this is how anime works sometimes, because I remember saying the same thing about other like shonen shows where there's just so much tell and not so much show sometimes. So I'm not even sure what to chalk that up as a criticism necessarily, but other than that, like that part, which isn't even that big of a deal in the grand scale of the show, that's more of a minor annoyance, but yeah, it's very good. I'm looking forward to all of Anya's meme faces because I looked her up for Google Images to find one particular face from the show, and I saw the manga is stuffed with meme faces.
Oh, yeah. Wait until you get to her classroom, yeah. Yeah, once you get into the school
about every chapter,
scenes,
you can
like
get a couple.
Anya all the time.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to split
that's
up
the thing.
those
She's not even
episodes then,
like
because
the
right
main
now it's been
focus
convenient
yet.
that they're kind of all together all of the time. But when Anya goes to school, she's going to be separated from those two for what I'm assuming is 6 to 8 hours a day. So I'm interested.
You don't watch all 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the pacing has been pretty slow too, like in a good
There are
way.
a lot of
But,
fucking
like,
volume
I
to
don't even
this.
think we're through the first
Anya hasn't
volume
even
yet
officially
until
gotten
next
into school
episode.
Right.
Yeah, and that's gonna be a process. Let me tell you. But I wanted to go back real quick on what you said about their like interactions and their like their interplay. I do think that part is refreshing, that the comedy isn't so like overplayed or anything like that. Like it's a lot of like quick banter, like you said. I think it's a lot better than, you know, sometimes like just like the loudness of like a comedy anime that usually it's like characters like exasperatingly being like the straight man. But yeah, I do like the quick, and it's almost like some jokes will just like fly under the radar. No spy puns intended.
Yeah,
but
I feel like it.
I think the comedy has
respects
been
its
like
audience
really
a little more
good
than some comedies. In that it will just kind of be a little more subtle about its jokes and trust that you got it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I just wanted to say one fun fact was the manga author, Tatsuya Endo, was actually an assistant, I believe, for Fujimoto, the Chainsaw Man creator. So I just think it's like wild that someone that worked under the guy that made Chainsaw Man is now making like a wholesome, funny show about a family.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
very different vibes
on Fire Punch
from his origins.
Oh no, that's
Oh, no.
like that's so far in the other direction.
That's
But
insane.
apparently,
so crazy.
Yeah, I'm looking at his Wikipedia. It says at the beginning of his career, Endo published mature stories. This is especially true for his early titles, which are about a serial killer and witch hunting. And then his editor encouraged him to come up with a more bright and cheerful manga.
Jeez.
Because, most manga are like, 20, they get their big hit. This guy's been doing manga for 20 years, which is why it makes sense that, as soon as Spy Family starts, the artwork is like so polished, because he's been doing this for so long. A lot of, first big hit manga from creators, you can see their style evolve a lot in storytelling and especially artwork. But this guy already had so many years of experience, so makes sense.
Is it pretty accurate to the manga in the anime for the most part? Like, everybody looks generally the same, sans the choices you have to like the things you have to change for the sake of animation.
Yeah, it looks very much like the manga, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like a one for one, and they've done like a really good job with the designs, especially because like you get some quirkier designs, like Frankie's got like his rectangular ass head, and once we get to the school, like a lot of the kids have like some really funny designs. But no, yeah, it looks great, and they've actually added some animated original scenes as well, so it's nice. I feel like so far they really understand the, I guess, the atmosphere and the pacing of the manga. I feel like it's been. I don't want to use the word perfect either, but like it's been really good.
Character designs really well, because it's got very like solid lines, solid shapes, easy to color. So it makes sense they didn't have to change much. He's always been very on model, like I said, because he's got so much experience. And yeah, I was excited about this when it was announced, not just that it was getting an anime, but that it was going to be with studio and Cloverworks, going to be directed by Kazuhiro Furuhashi, who's directed all of the Rurouni Kenshin anime, including the amazing prequel OVA. He directed the original Hunter x Hunter anime. He directed Gundam Unicorn. He directed Dororo. So he's a really strong director. And yeah, he definitely gets the humor and the sincerity of the series and executes it very well. And yeah, I think the characterization of each of the main characters really helps their interplay in the comedy, because they feel real on one level, and then on another level they're also very exaggerated versions of their respective like archetype or the role that they fulfill in the story. Like Lloyd Twilight thinks of everything in terms of his spy life, and Yor thinks of everything in terms of her assassin life, and then Anya is just an innocent little girl, but she's the only one who's privy to everything because she can read everyone's mind, and so she gets to use that to her advantage. So I think, yeah, that unique dynamic and just the way that those three factors play with each other can generate a lot of really great content, and it does. Because, yeah, I've been reading the manga every week since it's been coming out, and I love it, so I'm excited.
I like how Anya likes to show that the in-universe cartoon Spy Wars, and Lloyd kind of looks down on it, but then also his life is in a lot of ways like that. Like, he's like, oh, spying is not like that. But then later that episode, he sets a bunch of traps with, like, flour bags for people and then beats them up in a warehouse. Like, very cartoon spy shit as opposed to, I guess, how he thinks of what the job is, which probably is what it is most of the time, like paperwork and studying and shit like that. But yeah, I did think that I thought that was a little funny sort of joke where he's like, oh, it's Spy Wars, it's not like that. And he was like, oh, by the way, I need to sneak into this thing with this politician and then beat a bunch of people up when they trip over sandbags and shit. And I was like, yeah okay.
There's like a metatextual level there where, yeah, he's like, oh, that's how they portray it in cartoons about spies, but he is in a cartoon about spies. Yep, it's good shit. Also, Yor is very horny for weapons of death.
Yeah. And like just violence, period, really.
Yeah, just violence, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why it didn't like really click for me how I know like she's an assassin, but like when I was reading the manga, I didn't really like I don't know, I just kind of like phased it out, but now that it's getting animated, it's like, oh yeah, she literally like kills people every day. But then she goes home and is the most adorable lady ever. So it's like that juxtaposition. Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think the voice acting so far has been really good.
I don't know if it's supposed to be a joke or just written for like so Anya kind of understands, even though I think she is really smart, not just smart because she can copy off people, but I think she is quite intelligent. But because both Lloyd and Yor do this, they go, oh no, that's the room where my assassin tools are. Like, who thinks like that? It's like those those are my tools. I don't say, oh no, my IT technician tools. I just go, those are my tools or whatever, and they both do it. Like Lloyd says, right. I can't let Anya into the room where my spy equipment is. Like, I guess if he said, I don't know what would be more ridiculous if he said it out loud or if he thought it in his head, because I don't think anybody who does a job for a long period of time labels their personal tools in that way. So I was trying to figure out if that was supposed to be sort of funny or it's just so Anya knows exactly what's in there. So Anya doesn't have, you don't have to worry about context clues.
I think it's kind of intentional that it's so exaggerated in those situations where Anya has to have the absurd reaction, because it's like, you know, she assumes that they're going to be you know, a simple, like, nice person, and then they have this thought that is like, I am a murderer and these are my tools full of blood from people I just killed.
Yeah.
And then she has to have a hilarious reaction face, and it works.
No, that's my box full of enough poisons to kill an entire elephant.
Exactly. This reminds me of the time that I hugged my brother and broke his ribs.
That was, yeah, I thought that part was very, very funny as well. They both end up in situations almost immediately where they're holding Anya's hand and then she runs away from them.
It hasn't happened yet, but I will be curious on all of yours opinions when they introduce a few more characters. But namely, yours brother. I feel like he's one of the more standout characters in that he's very, like, anime tropey.
DJ will like him.
And I'm very curious to see what y'all think when he gets introduced.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
You'll see.
Yeah.
Look at this guy over here, DJ.
Does he wear a hat?
A couple times. Yeah.
I know you guys. No, he does not wear a hat.
Well, then I don't know if DJ's even gonna like him.
DJ will not be as upset by his characterization as Kane will be.
Oh, okay.
I say, is he psychologically broken?
Well, he works for the state. I'm pretty sure he has a hat.
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of talk of yours brother, but yeah, no, I don't even think they've even shown like an in-universe picture or anything yet.
Nope.
No, they always obscure his face. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they've only had a phone call.
Indeed. Well, yeah. It's definitely the best show.
But
yeah, for me, and I'm glad that it is as popular because yeah, it's another one that as long as it continues on this pace would definitely be another show. It's like to get somebody into anime, show them this to introduce, which I think you can never have enough of those types of shows to get someone into the medium.
Especially comedies.
Oh yeah.
For extremely accessible anime comedies, not that many.
Mm-mm.
It's true. There's not too much, like, as much as I love Gintama, you don't have to know the name of like every Japanese celebrity or like know what shows that they're spoofing on.
Yeah,
they're all the wordplay,
like a very Japanese show.
It's rough.
All right. Well, I think we can move on to another show here. Is there anyone that you guys want to talk about in particular? I know that there's at least two others that I think a couple of you folks are watching together. So I'm not sure if there's one that you would want to talk about in general. I know there's one more on my list that at least Kestrel is watching as well. And so is Brandon, so there's three of us, but I wanted to kind of leave the decision-making open to you guys since I've been dictating it almost the entire time.
Somebody had to take control.
Well, should we go?
I'm down to talk about the second heavy hitter because it is what I'm assuming it is. It's my top show
the
of
two
the
title
season.
fight.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm assuming that we're talking about the third season of Kaguya-sama Love is War, which is the second funniest anime of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I have decided. It is phenomenal, and it hasn't even gotten to like the serious stuff yet, and I know it will because it did last season, and that was amazing. It's just the most hyper exaggerated, self-aware, fourth wall breaking comedy I have ever seen, and it's just it's so smart, like just with the way it tells jokes. Like there's a part in, it was either the first or second episode, where it's talking about like Kaguya's arm strength because she uses a bow, and it loops like 3 seconds from the opening of the second season, and it was like the smartest thing that I've ever seen the show do, and it was just like, that's what I love about this. It's so aware that it is an anime.
Speaking of like the fourth wall breaks, the way the third season starts, where the second season ended, where like the school exploded and there's like a big ensemble song going on, and then they just like, and everything's okay again, and the school's back to normal. Absurd,
and I cannot take my eyes off of it for a second.
I laughed out loud several times in the first episode of this season.
Yeah, oh my god, with fucking Miko Ino listening to the words of affirmation from Hunks. Oh man, it's just so much like weird shit where you like try to describe a joke to somebody else that hasn't watched the show, and they're just like, what? But in the moment, it is the funniest shit.
The lying as easy as breathing, and then the callback to that in the next segment of the episode. Oh, that killed me.
They're still like millisecond shots of Kaguya putting her hand on her face to calm herself down, and it is just, there's so many callbacks at all times. It's gross.
Apparently,
the attention to detail is crazy.
In the latest episode, has been making cameos throughout the first 2 seasons.
I believe it. That's a thing that I would believe.
Yeah,
oh wow.
This is another really well-directed show. The director of this show, he did Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju, which is a very different kind of show, but also very well-directed, and he worked under Shinbo at Shaft for many years. There's actually a scene in the second season of Kaguya-sama where they recreate a famous scene from Bakemonogatari shot for shot. So, yeah, there's
I don't remember that.
great touches in there.
Which...
Yeah. It's not. That would be much.
That would be. Memorable. Wasn't that Nisei Monogatari?
It's not the toothbrush.
That was Nisei. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What? I don't remember this. It is specifically Bakemonogatari, right? Because that's the only one that I've watched. Okay.
I'll try to find like a Twitter comparison of the two, but yeah, it's just shot for shot, paying homage to that, and yeah. So another director that I just love, and another show with really good animation and music, and just the openings obviously are always amazing. The ending is like a big Starship Troopers reference that also kind of ties back to the first ending of the series. Yeah, a lot to love. Like, it's such a simple show, it could be so mediocre, and just everything that goes into it elevates it beyond what it should be capable of.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also one of the most well-acted series I've ever seen. And, like, fucking Aoi Koga.
Yeah,
holy
Aoi
shit.
Koga, oh my god.
Oh my god.
Her 2 sides for Kaguya are just incredible.
She has the most disgusting range I've ever heard.
Yeah. Hayasaka's character, too, the way she can like flip between her like monotone delivery and her like girly girl delivery,
serious stuff yet, which we definitely will be, and it'll be incredible. But that second episode with the whole group date thing, and the Herthaka persona, and how they talked about like, I like people better when they're not putting on an act, and it's the one thing that like you can see get to Hayasaka because she's always putting on an act. And then the resolution where you have her and Kaguya talking about how, they're basically sisters. They're the only ones who can be true with each other because Kaguya's the same way. She's always putting on an act, except when she's around Hayasaka. So, yeah, I love the characters.
They're great. It's such a good show.
I'm still like, I only just watched the second episode last night, and I still hear that noise from the second episode where she described Shiragane's rapping like a sea slug or whatever, and she's like, it's just been stuck in my mind all day
after
today.
all that,
It show's so funny.
Hearing Shirogane sing, just Chika just books it the other way. It's like her only scene in the entire episode. Yeah, she's like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah, she came all the way there. Just damn. Yeah, what else is there to say? I mean, it's more of an amazing show.
I'd say it's more amazing than it has
as
been.
Amazing
since
as
the
it has
beginning.
been since the beginning.
Yeah, I don't think the first season was on the level of the second and third so far.
Like the last few episodes of the first season are where I really think it starts like coming
That's
into
fair.
itself.
Yeah, and like season 2, like half of the season was the kind of material that we got in the finale of the first season,
Mhm.
and balancing those two sides of it was what really amazed me, because it can just go between literally laugh out loud funny to like almost want to make me cry very effectively.
Yeah. Dare I say the best
I mean,
A1
I probably
picture
have a
show?
few-
Is this a hot take?
Yeah, they've got a lot of shit. There's a few I might.
They
put
got a
around
lot of
something,
shit.
but I certainly wouldn't contend that opinion too much.
I think Kimi ni Todoroki was an A1 Pictures show, and that's my choice for the best one from them. I'm pretty sure
So-
that was them.
So I got to know, as someone who has not watched Gintama, what do you think is the funniest anime?
Me?
Since you said this is the
another
second,
another very Japanese show that not a lot of people have watched.
Oh, yeah.
Minami K. I feel like it was early 2000s, and it got like 4 seasons, and I think it is absurdly hilarious, and it's extremely dry. And I have no one to talk to about it because it's so long ago, and it's not streaming on anything anymore. And so you have to like find a fucking import DVD of an early 2000s probably anime show that a few people watched. But God, is it fucking hilarious. And
That kind of reminds me of a show I watched recently, but I can't remember what it was called.
I'm forgetting her name off the top of my head,
Let's
but
see if I can find it. 'Cause I think you'd
Armin's
like it.
voice actress, she does
Mari
the
no
protagonist of Minami K, and that's like how I found her, and she's fucking hilarious.
I was hoping you were going to say Asobi Asobase, but can't win them all.
I'm disappointed that you would bring that
Or,
name up
Danshi
around me.
Kokose. I mean, there's some good ones in there.
But yeah, it is interesting that, like last season, the heavy hitters were really high action-packed shonen anime, Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, and then this one is all like really great comedy. A lot of it's romantic comedy, but it's still like just as good. So
Yeah.
interesting season dynamics.
Rom-coms are my shit, so I'm all about it. All right.
Now you got me thinking about like comedy shows, and I'm like, I think I'm dead inside. I can't remember what I can't remember what I think the funniest show anime I've ever.
There
watched.
are very few anime that I think are genuinely funny, and Kaguya-sama is one of them. Anime has its own type of humor that just doesn't normally work for me, and it really has to be elevated to a point where it's not just like fucking immature joking. And I feel like Kaguya-sama is really just its self-awareness and its ability to call back shit from like years ago that just completely was wiped from your mind. It is the writing is so good. So
and I think
it's extremely clever.
The timing and voice acting are also essential in delivering that. Because if it was like off by a second or the acting was not as phenomenal, then I don't think it would hit quite as hard. But
the timing
it's definitely one of the few that can actually make me laugh out loud.
Yeah.
There's nothing that I can put in the same category as Gintama, but aside from that, that's impressive. It's been seasons, maybe years, since I've actually laughed out loud at anime.
I found the show I was trying to think of. It was called Aiura, Aiura.
Okay.
They're like little
I've never heard of
4-minute
that.
episodes, but I think that might be up your alley.
But that's another segue opportunity if we're done talking about Kaguya-sama, because there's another 4-minute show this season that is funny. And that is Kaginato, which is surprising because I wasn't a big fan of the first season. It has grown on me tremendously, and I love its ability to laugh at itself, because every episode of Kaginato is just them joking about how serious all of the key properties are. And it is quite interesting to have all of these sad human beings in the same place laughing at how sad they are and how it is just a joke. So, season 2 has been very fun so far, but I mean, that's basically the extent that I could talk about it, because it's been 3 weeks and we have 10 minutes of content.
Yeah.
It's Isekai Quartet. Yeah.
This is like that Isekai classroom thing.
It's fun. It's a lot better. It took me a while to come around on the first season, because I don't know, it weirded me out at first seeing all of these characters that I really resonated with in a chibi comedy setting. But now I've accepted it and I love it. And I want more.
Yeah, I don't think I have a whole lot of experience with very short forms like that. I think the last one that I watched was Way of the House Husband, and those were 6 or 7 minutes. I think. Yeah. So 4 minutes. 4 minutes makes me wonder what can even be accomplished in that time frame.
Not much. No, it's you have time for one joke, so it better be a good joke, or your entire episode is wasted.
I feel like I like the short form shows. I feel like it's digestible, because there's some shows that just really do not deserve to be
4 minutes long.
Difference though, you can have the 12-minute
I feel
episode.
like some of them can flex that.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen a 4-minute show that I was like, wow, this was
That's
good.
True.
This was worth 4 minutes.
I did used to
I feel like a few seasons ago I watched Doki-chan. That was alright.
Back in the day.
They gave Mahjong Soul a 4-minute short this season too, and I am very happy about that, because I didn't think that would ever get any sort of animation, and I love Mahjong Soul, and it's fun seeing the characters actually be characters, even if they're in short form, chibi form.
All right. Well,
cool.
I think it's safe to say we can move on, since there is a total of what you said, 12 minutes maybe of content.
Yeah.
So. All right. So let's see. We have. I mean, there's certainly plenty going off of the other lists. Kestrel, you and Brandon are both watching the new Legend of the Galactic Heroes, right?
Yep.
How's that coming along, since I know there are big shoes to fill?
Yeah, I mean, as always, it cannot fill those shoes. But Legend of the Galactic Heroes doesn't have the strongest start anyway. So now that we're finally getting into some of the material that made the original really great, you can see how even a lesser adaptation can still be pretty decent, just adapting that. But yeah, I don't have too strong of opinions on it. It's just this is material. The boys are pretty and shiny and Ken doll-y now.
The music's fire.
Yeah,
I feel like every OP and ED is like amazing, but they're kind of the same.
You got
too,
Sawano
so it's like
themes. That's always
I don't know.
a safe bet.
It depends. Yeah. The weirdest part about it for me is that I didn't even realize it was airing this season until like 4 episodes were already out. Because like Crunchyroll wasn't advertising it. I didn't see it on any social media or anything. I don't even remember how I realized it was airing, but because it doesn't show up in like the currently airing lists on either Mal or Crunchyroll. It was just kind of like just happening, I guess, because it's like technically like a movie decompilated thing, so it's really weird. Right. So I like even on Mal, it's listed as a movie, and it's 12 episodes, so confusing. But yeah, it's more of the same. Kind of like what Castro said, it really had to get its engine going, but now we're getting to like crazy politics and like Death Star level shit happening. So I enjoy it. I really like this, like the slow political aspect of it, character focused stuff. But yeah, I haven't seen the original yet, so I need to take a whole month out of my time and do that at some point.
You can always borrow Castro's Blu-rays.
But yeah.
He got that set.
$800.
You got those on Blu-ray?
Well, did you get it for $800? Did you get it on sale for $799.99?
All right, the MSRP is $799.98, and I got it on a very special sale for $799.98. That's $0.00 off, limited time only. Yeah. Yeah, I was at Sentai's panel on Friday morning at Anime Boston 2018, and my jaw was progressively getting closer and closer to the floor throughout the duration of that panel, and as soon as it ended, I pulled up their website and refreshed until it was listed, and then I bought it. Yep.
Damn.
It is. I'm like...
That's dope.
I think they had my picture on their wall when they were planning this release, because it's just like my ideal release. It's one of my favorite anime of all time. All of it, an absurd amount of content collected together in this enormous fucking monolith of a box set, this museum piece that I literally have in a display case on a pedestal. Like, it's incredible. I will never have another anime release that good. So it's
what is it, like 120 episodes or so? The original or the OVA?
Gaiden prequel OVAs that follow other characters total another 52 episodes, and then it has 3 movies. And it's got like a big book with the whole timeline of everything that happens throughout the series, and a bunch of other stuff. It's got like stupid fucking challenge coin or whatever bullshit. It's got like a numbered plate, and just this giant, I don't even know how to describe it, that houses it all. But it's incredible, yeah.
Where would you say that the current show is in the timeline? Like, are we like
it's
even halfway through the original?
So it's like a little more than a quarter of the way through. Yeah. There's so much more.
Jeez.
Yeah, it has not gotten nearly as crazy.
Oh man. Man, by the time by the time they end this, I'm going to be like 40 years old.
They're continuing it at a decent enough pace, but yeah, the original took a decade or so to come out, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm sure it's popular in Japan too, even if no one here is watching it.
There is a poster for the remake of Legend of the Galactic Heroes on the wall of a character in the first episode of the second season of Komi-san, which we got on Netflix today.
That was a hell of a segue.
I just watched that like the minute before we recorded. I was like, oh yeah, it's a poster.
We're just pumping them out.
Back to Heroes. So it's fresh in my mind.
It's still Komi-san.
Yep.
It's the same show.
Damn. Was it a?
Oh, it's an
Episode by
episode.
Did they do a whole 12 batch, or are they
Which would be
doing it
great if
episode
it
by
wasn't
episode?
A 3-week delay.
Yeah, that's annoying. But I mean, at
Like-
least we're getting it, unlike the fucking 2 shows I can't watch still because Disney Plus has the rights to them and won't upload them or something.
That is certainly true. Yeah, that's rough.
And also Stone Ocean fans.
But yeah, I mean, like
Down
in
bad.
some ways, I'm not even talking about the show now. I'm just talking about Netflix. In some ways, this is less forgivable because before it was like, yeah, you know, they want to have it all out at once. They want to have it dubbed in every language when they launch it. Now none of that applies, so they have absolutely no excuse for it being 3 weeks late. Like Cruncher, yeah, and call it a simulcast. Like all of these other way
Can't call it a
tinier companies
simulcast.
have been doing this the day it comes out in Japan for 10, 15 years. Fucking Netflix can do it. Yeah, it pisses me off. And Disney Plus thing pisses me off more, but
Yeah, that
like,
is
the biggest
annoying.
companies. What the fuck?
Well, like I don't like how Disney Plus thinks that they can suddenly do anime. That bothers me.
I mean,
and it
would be
bothers me
okay
more
if
when they
actually
won't
did it.
fucking put it online.
Yeah.
Like it's one thing to get it. It's another thing to get it and not do anything with it. Because those are like 2 shows I was really looking forward to. The idea of a fucking second Black Rock shooter out of nowhere, yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, I didn't want that, but Summertime Render I did.
Yeah, Summertime Render looks great. It has an awesome premise, and I was really looking forward to it. And I noticed like a couple weeks went by, and it like still wasn't on Crunchyroll or anything. So I started looking it up, and my dreams were shattered. So
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, and you thought it was on Disney Plus at the time.
I did. Yeah, I was about to fucking. Because I don't have Disney Plus. Like I was about to subscribe, and if I subscribed to Disney Plus and that shit wasn't on there, oh man, I would have fucking dug up Walt Disney's grave.
He is personally responsible for this.
It's all his fault.
Man, I haven't felt the scorn yet for Disney Plus, but once that
They better
Tatami
get this
Galaxy
shit together
sequel
by then.
starts coming out, I'll probably be very mad.
My scorn is still reserved for Netflix, so
That's
I
fair.
doubt it'll happen.
they're in a bad spot and doing bad things, making bad decisions right now.
And they're
As-
suffering for it as a company.
Mhm.
As neither of these companies hired me, I can talk badly about them.
Yeah, Komi-san though. It's good.
Yeah.
I like the characters a lot. I just wish there was a plot. Is there?
I think there is eventually, sort of. You have to. It's said like it's the. It's one of those
Okay.
things where it's like,
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
worry, the plot
that's
starts
fine
happening
as
at
long
chapter
as it's
178.
not just
you know, it's like
gimmicky
one of those.
forever. Like I can wait. I just need to know that it will go somewhere at some point.
Yeah, I think they start adding some drama elements and stuff, but I actually have been trying to get through the first season right now because originally I was not watching the Netflix version because, you know, the typesetting for the subtitles isn't the best, but the other means I was using, they didn't do anything past like the 3rd episode, which is, you know, the usual like inevitable end for most fan subs. It's how that usually goes. They just don't come out. So now I'm just like, fuck it, I'll just catch up on Netflix so I can actually watch the 2nd season. So I'm only like halfway through the 1st season, but yeah, it's just like the manga. It's like every chapter or every episode you introduce a new wacky person that doesn't understand Komi's whole deal. And yeah, it's a good formula, I guess. But
I want to point
like you
out
said, it does need
that,
to shake it up at some point.
everybody in this school looks fucking weird.
That's the joke.
Yeah. it's like it's so weird though. There's like some of the, like you got like one dude who is just like a ninja, and then another dude who's like a normal guy, but he has like a fucking Edo period samurai ponytail. It's just so many strange things. That's all. That's all I had.
I do like how this season began with Najimi noting that Komi's kind of making shit progress on her goal.
Yep.
Like, wow, you've only got 13 and this is like chapter 45.
Najimi is the best. Actually, no. Renyama is the best. But then Najimi.
Yeah.
Is that all?
For Komi, yeah, there's not much to really talk about yet.
I know my brother sends me gifts from Comey out of context every once in a while in reference to Phillies baseball games. I think it's just every time, he just sends me gifts of Comey looking very stressed. Whenever something bad happens in Phillies games, which this season is a lot of things. So I get a lot of gifts. Yeah, exactly. It's pretty much always shaking.
Constant shaking, Comey.
All right, cool. Let's see. Oh, the show. Okay.
Hey, wait! I got one. I got a segue. Speaking of girls with that have trouble talking, we can talk about Aharon-san because I think a couple of us are watching that.
6 out of 10.
I couldn't match the same. Yeah, I couldn't match the precise poster shout out or anything like that.
Not bad.
But yeah, I worked with what I had. Not my best material. But yeah, this show's kind of cute. I just I've only watched the first 2 episodes, but it's probably my show of the season that it's like the one that I'll like eat my lunch and watch it and like kind of just my eyes glaze over a little bit, but
Yeah, that's fair. I feel the same way.
it's entertaining though.
It's inoffensive. Like it I mean, in some ways that makes it worse, which is why I like Birdie Wing better. Because in some ways it makes it worse because this show doesn't make me feel anything at all. Because I'm like, it is inoffensive and it is a show, and that's up until this last episode 4, which I think is the first good episode that actually had jokes that made me laugh and not just do like the occasional hard nose exhale. Yeah, it's cute and fine, I suppose. Yeah, that's true. That part hasn't happened yet.
They haven't looted the lolly.
So
that's
that. Yeah.
Yeah, right. We say
so
yeah because positive. It's like it's inevitable, right?
That's for sure a positive. Yeah, I like some of the jokes that they go off of, like when Raido, the main character, always imagines himself being popular, he somehow still has his same facial expression while surrounded by people, and they even play it off as a joke in that 4th episode, how his face expression never changes. So there's stuff like that I think is funny. I don't really care about Aharon-san's friend.
Oh yeah, they introduced her in the last
luckily
episode I watched, and I was like, oh, one of these characters.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I would call this show, it's like soft humor, because I do really like Raido's constant facial expression and just Aharon's like tiny mouth like opening and closing and you don't hear anything, just stuff like that. Like you said, it's just like the exhaling from the nose humor.
Episode, which is probably why it's good, because something actually sort of entertaining happens. Because they get caught in a rap battle, but they don't know how to end it, for the most part.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think soft humor is a good way to put it. Yeah, it just doesn't do anything particularly great. Like, I can't even say, like, the artwork is good and the animation is good or whatever, or the writing and directing, because I'm like, this is the most, like, bland anime I've ever seen.
It is very, like, middle of the road in every aspect, I guess. Is this the new isekai, like, socially inept girl?
It just seemed to be
just
cropping
like the
up
new
recently,
genre?
maybe.
It's definitely a popular thing, yeah.
So I believe it.
Well, then I guess there's also a socially strong girl as one of the other big shows this season. But I dropped that first episode, but
yeah, it's a show that I'm surprised Aharon-san that I haven't gotten sick of the gimmick just yet, because I really thought I was going to. I was like, okay, she talks quietly and people can't hear her. Because we've watched shows on the podcast before that have had like a very strong gimmick, like a Sleepy Princess and Demon Castle, that managed to be really good the whole way through because the way they play around with said gimmick and things. But sometimes it feels like Aharon-san's is particularly constricting, because it's not even that she can't communicate like Komi, which is you can play around with a little more. Aharon-san is perfectly capable of like speaking coherently and knowledgeably and everything. It's just hard to hear her, and that's about it. So Raido actually carries a lot of the humor in that him misunderstanding her sometimes and then letting his mind wander into like catastrophic thinking processes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I do think his voice actor is like perfect dude for like a role that needs to be the hard carry.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, I think he's pretty good. He carries it. He has a good blend of sounding generic, but in a way that does feel kind of like more on purpose. Like he sounds like a guy who's trying to be a generic character rather than a guy who is just a generic character. So I'll give him props for that one as well. Now, if the show continues with episodes that are strong, like episode 4, I could see myself liking it more. But yeah, it's definitely I put this on when I'm eating dinner or whatever. So
yeah.
I think, is it just you and me that watched it? I think so.
Oh, I watched it.
Oh, you watched it? I see it's at the bottom of your list, but you haven't dropped it yet.
Oh.
Is there anything you wanted to add to the conversation about it? I know we haven't really been speaking particularly great of it, even though none of us have dropped it yet.
It is as close as something could be to being dropped on my list. So we'll see if it makes it any longer. Yeah, it's I've got a laugh out loud comedy or two this season. I've got a few sensible chuckles. This one is starting to, be difficult to put a smile on my face. So it's getting old, and yeah, I thought it was a little funny, like right at the beginning, but it's definitely not one that I think mixes up its formula well enough to carry that joke for an entire season. So.
Yeah, so basically what we were talking about before, and then as soon as you had mentioned that, I was thinking about how one of the moments that I actually laughed out loud the most had nothing to do with her or the gimmick at all, which I don't know what that says about the show, but it was the part in the newest episode where they're in the park and that girl keeps threatening to call the police.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was funny. But it had nothing to do with really Aharon-san or the gimmick of the show, and I'm kind of like, I don't know what that says about the show, because it's just like kind of a one-off joke about something else that's happening. So, we will see. We shall see. But, alright, cool. So, I think we have time for one or two more, especially if it's something that is ranked fairly high on anybody's list. So, DJ, is there anything that you want to pick from your list? I know that we've gotten a couple, but
from my list, yeah, I would like to talk a little about Dance Sore, because I see that Kestrel has it rather low, and I want to figure out where that disparity comes from, because to me, I think that this show is really beautiful, and I think that it's got a really important message that it's been trying to get across, and I think the animation's good, and it reminds me a lot of Welcome to the Ballroom, which was another good show, just visually and tonally. And I like it a lot. And I guess I'm in the same boat where it's like I'm suddenly watching a show about a subject matter that I had zero interest in, and I'm getting interested in the show because it's very passionate about what it is showing you. And that in this case is ballet. But that's only about half of the show. And I guess the big message that they're trying to get across is this kid, his dad dies when he's young, and he's sort of forced to become the man of the house, but his real interests are in ballet. So he kind of pushes those to the side because everyone thinks that that's not a manly thing to do, and he gets involved in like martial arts instead. So he's just living this fake life trying to be a man when that's antithetical to the person that he actually is. And so the anime is all about him sort of graduating from that decayed mindset and following his dreams. And I think that is a really cool thing to make an anime about. So I want to know where, I guess, the disconnect is and why the show doesn't resonate with you, Kestrel, as much, because I feel like these are things that you would normally like. And so there's got to be something that's holding it back, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if I can quite place it. Like, I think those are strong qualities that it has. I do like Welcome to the Ballroom. And, I don't care about ballet, but as it turns out, I just rewatched Princess Tutu in the past few days, which is another anime about ballet. Yeah, I guess I don't like it aesthetically that much. There are a few things about that I'm not a fan of. And I guess like the main character and his struggle, and all the different factors at play there and kind of what it says about society and, gender roles, is really powerful. But I feel like most of the other characters, I don't feel like that much great character writing from them so far. I feel like they're all just kind of one-note characters in service of this journey. So, I'm definitely going to keep watching and hoping that all changes and that I grow to care about them all a lot more. But I think right now it's kind of just the main character is the only one that I care about at all. And the other ones and their interactions with him occasionally kind of frustrate me because I feel like they don't feel as real as him. It kind of feels like, it's his story and then characters around him. He's the only person in it. But yeah, I don't know.
I get that. That all makes sense.
It hasn't hit me that much yet.
Yeah,
but I still like it.
Yeah. I understand now. Thank you for sharing.
Also, I haven't heard Dance by Fall Out Boy once in the series, and I'm kind of confused.
I think they're holding on to it. I think that's going to be like the big moment.
It's the finale, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's the go read the manga moment. They're like, go listen to Fall Out Boy.
And for licensing reasons, you just get a 10-second chiptunes clip of it.
Also, unrelated, very brief note, Love Live Nijigasaki is still very good, and it's still the best form of Love Live. But it's all downhill from here since we got the Best Girls episode already.
I still don't hate it, and I still hate the fact that I don't hate it.
Very good. Let's see. I'm scrolling through the lists. Brandon, I think we got most of your shows, actually. Except for Onipan, which is at the bottom, if you wanted to talk about that.
I briefly mentioned it. I really have nothing to say about it. Honestly, I feel like we usually get through, like, maybe 4 or 5, like, shows that we all talk about, so, like, I feel pretty good about this one.
Yeah, I think we covered a good amount of bases. I do, Castro, want to ask you real quick about Tiger and Bunny 2, only because I had no idea that it was even getting a sequel up until it started airing, because the original aired so fucking long ago, and I didn't even realize people really liked it.
11 years ago.
Yeah, 11 fucking years ago, and it's just getting a second season now. It got a movie at one point, right?
2 movies. One, I think, was mostly a clip show, and then one new one.
Yeah, I knew of the new one. I didn't know that there was a clip show movie. That sounds lame as hell, but...
It's been 11 years, which I also can't believe because it feels like yesterday. That was my favorite season of all time was Spring 2011.
It's because of this show, right?
It's because of that show. I like Tiger and Bunny. It's fine.
Wow.
It's like weirdly popular in certain circles. Like there was some, I forget who did it, but some huge Japanese company did some huge, like, everyone in Japan vote on the greatest anime of all time, and like the top 3 were like top 100 anime of all time from the first 100 years of anime were Tiger and Bunny the movie, and Tiger and Bunny the clip show or something.
I remember that, and I fucking don't understand.
Sense. Yeah,
was this company? Did this company happen to be SoftBank?
Right, yeah, exactly. I don't know how that happened. I think, like, because some of the guys are hot, there's, like, a bunch of yaoi fangirls for it or something. I don't know. It blows my mind how that poll happened. Probably a lot of bots. But anyway, there's a new season of it, finally, for some reason. Like, I don't know why now in 2022 this would happen, but it's here. And it's more of Tiger and Bunny. It's fine, I guess. The first, 12 episodes are on Netflix. The first half of them are just because it's the original Tiger and Bunny, they were the first pair of heroes, and so they were the prototypes for pairs of heroes. So now all of the heroes have been paired up. And the first 6 episodes are just going through all the pairs one by one and being like, my partner and I don't get along. How are we going to resolve this? Which is kind of boring as hell. But it gets okay as it goes on. So it's all right.
Yeah, I remember really liking it as well. And I don't know if any shows had done it beforehand with the whole, what happens in a universe that have superheroes with corporate sponsorships and things like that, which to me was the major draw. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you about it mainly because of the insane time span between the old material and this material, and to see if it was still popular, like if this is something that people were really looking forward to, or if it caught everyone by surprise.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know what this circle of fans is that voted Tiger and Bunny the greatest anime of all time, but I hope they're happy that they're getting more. It does look exactly the same. Like, it looks like this was made the day after they finished season 1.
Is that a compliment?
I mean, if you liked how season 1 looked, it looked decent for the time, I guess. I guess the fact that nothing's really changed in the past 11 years. If you go 11 years before that, anime looked completely different. But the 2010s and on, they've all looked the same, basically. Everything's made the same way, so it's not that different.
Yeah, that's true. It feels like this is one of the longest periods of all the anime kind of has a sort of particular style, since you can sort of separate earlier ones like this is what it looked like in the 70s and the 80s. And I feel like, this is something that's the 2010s into the 2020s, and it doesn't look like it's changing anytime soon.
Right. Yeah. Right.
If anything, the noses are just going to disappear entirely.
Not if fucking Ranking of Kings and stuff like that has anything to say about it.
That's why that's the best show of the year.
But yeah.
That's why X-Arm tried to change the game. Let's make anime made by people who don't know how to make anime. There we go. That's
a paradigm shifter.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, the CG in Tiger and Bunny, I mean, it's never been the most amazing thing, but I think it looks fine, and it looks exactly the same here.
Yeah, I guess they kind of benefit from that, too, that CGI and anime in general hasn't gotten leagues better since then.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that is unfortunate, but lucky for them, I guess.
Yeah, right.
All right, cool. Well, unless there's anything else that anybody wants to talk about, I think we can move on to recommendations if people have any of them. I don't really have one this week, other than watching like Spy Family, but in terms of stuff's coming out, I don't even know what is, other than I think Discotek is releasing Violence Jack on Blu-ray, which, yeah, definitely look into that if you like that good, like, dark 90s shit.
I've got a lot of recommendations in lots of different categories. So obviously, I've talked about Spy Family. Watch Spy Family. It's great. Anyone will love it, I bet. Very accessible. Also, another Netflix show that didn't really fit into any season. It was an actual Netflix original that was all released at once. Came out, I think, a few weeks, maybe a month before this season started, is Kotaro Lives Alone. Much heavier than it looks. Surprisingly heavy, surprisingly very good. So check that show out. Doesn't look great. Kind of looks like ass, but good content. For some new manga that you can read, without buying a physical book. On Shonen Jump and Manga Plus, you can read the new Tatsuki Fujimoto 200-page one-shot, Goodbye Eri, which is incredible. Yeah.
So good.
He's really good at those single-volume stories. So check that out. Also, for not related to any of this stuff at all, but a great film that you should go check out is Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
I like that title. I like that title.
Yeah, it. Every time I think of that title, the song "Welcome to the Internet" is stuck in my head because it's pretty similar to that. But yeah, it's a really great movie. I recommend everyone go see it with as little context as possible.
Ooh, perfect.
Yeah, it's very hard for me to imagine that this will not be my number one film of the year.
I am trying to get a date for that movie.
Nice.
And by date, I'm trying to find when my friend Fish is off from work so that we can go see the movie because we're the only two people that want to see it. So,
and when you buy your movie tickets, make sure to buy them from Fandango.
Maybe I'll reactivate my Alamo season pass finally.
Ooh. Season pass holder.
Yeah, I was one of the first. Signed up like way early.
Nice
flex. But then COVID happened and all of them were immediately buzzed.
I mean, I'd recommend it. I haven't seen it yet, but I was just like, I would recommend anyone watch it just because Michelle Yeoh is fucking awesome.
He is really good in it.
Yeah. Movie of the year contender for sure. That was fun.
And also, a couple of things that come out tomorrow, which will be several days ago by the time this is released. So I have no idea if they will be good or not, but we won't record for another month, so I won't remember that they existed. So hopefully you should check out Bubble on Netflix, which is not to be confused with The Bubble, an unrelated film also released this month. This is an anime film on Netflix by the staff of the first 3 seasons of Attack on Titan and Death Note, and written by Geno Ribuchi, and basically starring all of the leads in all of Tetsuo Araki's anime. So check that out. It's about weird gravity shifting and parkour and shit, which, cool. That'll be great with his dynamic animation style. And then also coming out tomorrow, I think is like the first 3 episodes of The Offer on Paramount Plus, which is a new dramatic retelling of the creation of The Godfather. So hopefully that'll be good. Hopefully it's better than Mank. That movie was not good. That's all I got.
Okay. I am gonna recommend a video game called, and it's a sequel, so you're gonna have to play the first one too. Blue Reflection Second Light.
I saw that you were playing this on the internet.
I love it. I am probably the biggest Blue Reflection fan in the world out of all 20 of us. And it is so much better than the first game in almost every way. And it features characters from that game as well as the anime that aired last year. And it's just absolutely fantastic and everything I love in one video game. And if you want to watch lesbian magical girls fight against the manifestations of their emotion in a post-apocalyptic universe, Blue Reflection's the series for you to do that. And in your free time, you can just go on dates with all of the girls, and it's fantastic.
You didn't make this game, did you?
That is exactly what I said when the fucking trailer came out. I was like, this is literally, like, they just looked at my browsing histoy, and they just made a game based off of it. And so, that's why I'm the biggest fan of
in
it.
The Galactic Heroes box set.
They had DJ's picture on their wall.
Yeah, it's the most DJ series out there, and I'm glad that they're making more of them because the first one did not sell well. But Gust does not give a shit about if their games sell well or not because Atelier didn't sell anything for like the first 5 games they made, and now it's huge because they just kept making them. So I hope Blue Reflection's the next Atelier.
I've got a recommendation. Shocker. It's actually anime. Double shocker.
Whoa, shit.
Have you watched it?
No.
Yes. Because this came out a million years ago.
Okay.
I do not own this set yet, but I have it on good authority that it's something I should buy because it is Sayonara Zetsubu Sensei Season 1 plus linear notes, Blu-ray set. Set. I guess it's a set. The linear notes book is over 200 pages long for 12 episodes of anime. Nice. The only Japanese show that might be more Japanese than Gintama.
That's fair.
It's weird that you mentioned. I was talking about this show like last week. I have not watched it, but I've always wanted to. And now this gives me even more reason to. So thanks.
I was actually collecting the manga for this, but it got dropped by the company releasing it in English because it wasn't selling particularly well. So, yeah. So this was a show nobody really wanted to touch for a very long time because it was considered nigh untranslatable. Just for the sheer amount of like random ass text in the background and shit. But yeah, it's out now with its 200 plus page liner notebook.
Wow.
So very cool.
I'm gonna have to dig deep in my bag for a recommendation. I'm gonna say go read Inio Asano's Dead Demons Destruction.
I would love to, but Kino Kuniya only has volume 2, and they've only had volume 2 for the fucking last month.
Damn. Well, I think it rivals his best works up there with, I mean, most people know him for Goodnight Pun Pun, but this one isn't nearly as depressing, which is great.
Wait, what?
Still lots of like,
isn't that the point?
Crazy world ending shit. Well, yeah, no, there's still plenty of
Inio Asano being not
crippling
depressing.
sadness.
Can he do that?
Yeah, but the final volume comes out this summer, I think, and there's an anime announced for it. So if you want to get ahead of the trend and experience one of my favorite manga of the last couple years, I'd recommend that. And then also play Elden Ring. That game's amazing.
It's fine.
You're the only person
okay,
I've heard have.
I'm allowed to say I've beaten literally every boss in the game, and I have earned the right to say it's just okay.
I mean, that's fine. You're just going to say that.
It's Dark Souls, but it's a lot of Dark Souls.
It's big Dark Souls.
It's big Dark Souls. Which is all that I could ask, because if you get frustrated, at least you can just go someplace else in the game and try fighting something else.
Yeah.
It's
True.
Costco Dark Souls.
It is. It's the most Costco of Dark Souls.
Especially because you get like a package deal of like, oh, you didn't like this boss? Well, you get to face it 3 more times. Don't worry.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 game.
Fighting the same thing over and over. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I have no interest in playing it because I suck at video games, but everyone I hear says it's amazing.
Yeah, everybody that I talk to says it's amazing too, and that's why I played it all, so I could be able to talk bad about it without people telling me to get good.
I will simply admire
Well, you
it
got
from afar.
good, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, same.
That is also an appropriate reaction to have.
I'll admire it from afar and continue doing my kart racing in Yakuza and hitting a bunch of delinquent people with a giant sex toy.
Oh, I gotta start Kiwami.
Kiwami is my favorite. Yeah, the first Kiwami
is really good. Yeah,
it's also the hardest of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Jeez.
It's the one I think it's the only one I've played so far, and I've played 0, Kiwami, and then Kiwami 2, and then I just skipped right to Like a Dragon because it was it's on.
Oh, you've got to
Pass.
play Yakuza 6. There's a mini game where you just like carry a baby around the city and get it to stop crying.
In Like a Dragon, there's a mini game where you just collect cans because you're homeless.
I know. Yep. You even get a cool can collecting car.
You do, but yeah, it was just that the whole thing I was just getting around to is Kiwami 1 is the only one that I actually died in, like during the story.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
yeah, there's a couple fights in that.
The others, I only play on normal, so it's not like I play on the hardest. But even on normal, yeah, in Kiwami, I died a couple times actually, because it can get a little difficult. Like especially because of the action style, you can get like caught in a combo real easy.
Yeah.
And it'll screw with you. But yeah, so I will admire Elden Ring from afar because I play video games, but I'm not that dedicated.
It looks beautiful and sounds beautiful.
It does.
Those are the things that are undeniably fantastic about it.
I will amend my recommendation to be play Elden Ring and Yakuza.
I'm pretty sure this is our second consecutive episode where the recommendation section turns into 5 minutes of you guys talking about Yakuza, even though nobody recommended Yakuza.
That's because
sure
everybody
the
should
exact
play.
same thing happened last time.
That sounds right.
Yeah. It's tangentially related because Japan.
There you
True.
go.
Yep. That's how I'm going to tie
Yakuza is
it.
more anime than a lot of anime is.
It really
That is
fucking
true.
is.
I can't watch Jujutsu Kaisen without thinking Kiryu is the principal. He's literally the same guy.
Okay.
We should wrap this up.
Yeah. I have a bug delivery I have to pick up.
What?
Yeah. You heard that
Which
correctly.
animal is that for? Which animal is that for?
It's for
Lizard?
I'm going to be starting a morning gecko colony, which is a species of all. They're lesbian geckos. They're all female. They reproduce through parthenogenesis, and this isn't the place to be talking about that.
All I have to say, all I thought of was, it's DJ. I was like, of course they're lesbians.
Yeah.
I mean, could there be
On
anything more?
brand.
Could there be anything more DJ than lesbian lizards?
Nope. That's it.
Anyway, you can find Phantom Post Radio anywhere you find podcasts. Subscribe, rate, and review. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Amazon Music, Alexa, Facebook Podcasts, PhantomPost.com, iHeartRadio. Did I say that? Whatever. We're everywhere all at once. And yeah, we are on social media, Twitter and Facebook, at Fandom Post Radio. You can get in contact with us there, follow us, share our stuff, and get in contact with us via email, fandompostradio@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter at FullMetalKyoma. You may remember me from my popular tweet that got 20,000 likes in 2 days a few weeks ago. Despite that, I still have no followers, so follow me. Yeah, that's all I got. I'll probably review that Bubble movie in the next few days, so we'll look for a review of that.
DJ, how about you?
You can find me on Twitter at DJ No Style. You can find my video game at subscribestar.adult.com/celibus. And that game is called Lessons in Love. There's a down spell right now because I'm remaking the entire first chapter, which is only like 25 hours of content. But yeah, play it. It'll be, well, don't play it. Wait until it's done, then play it.
All right, you heard it here. Don't play Lessons in Love.
Don't play Lessons in Love until I give you the green light.
This might be the first time that he's like, wait.
Yeah, the first few hours are embarrassingly bad. I don't want to subject people to that.
You can find me on Twitter at SonicBug until Twitter burns down even more than it already has. Yeah, is that everybody? Did I miss anybody?
There's Brandon.
Yeah,
Brandon.
Yeah. Sorry.
I should have led with you.
No. Hellshake Brando on all my socials. I'm writing weekly reviews for Spy Family and Mashal manga, so please read those. And I've got an EP coming out soonish, hopefully. I just got to get distributors figured out so it can get on Spotify, but look forward to that too.
Cool.
Neat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Creatives.
I can't wrap my head around making music, so I'm in awe.
It's fun. And hard.
I'm sure.
And
all right, everyone. Well, thanks for listening. We will catch you again on another episode. You may be talking about the season at the midway point or something else fun, but I'm sure it will be entertaining for everyone regardless. So once again, thank you for tuning in, and keep telling your friends if you have any, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.
bye-bye.